Okay, so MGS2, possibly my favourite Metal Gear game, not too sure on that. I mean, I love all of the Metal Gear games, like they are all great for their own particular reasons, they all have their own strengths, and they all have their definite, obvious weaknesses as well. Some more so than others, but this may be my favourite. Either this one or Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid 1, I think. MGS3, so I have periods of time where I think MGS3 is maybe my favourite. It depends what mood I'm in for, I guess. Anyway, let's just jump right into this. Hopefully the Phantom Pain can take the throne as my favourite Metal Gear game. It looks amazing, of course. It's really rare that I ever get excited for games nowadays, and the Phantom Pain is just... I'm so unbelievably hyped for it. Like, the only games I'm looking forward to coming out would be Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake,
we had classified intelligence.
The Last Guardian, and that's really it. And the Phantom Pain as well, obviously. But those are really the only games I'm interested in.
Our noses have been out in the cold too long.
It's like I don't really get excited much nowadays for games. I don't think it's because I'm getting older or anything like that. I think it's because there's just not much games there's just not many games being released which I find interesting, I guess. And I know a lot of people criticise this game for having a lot of cutscenes. I mean, you play the first game and you think, that was a great game, but whoa, that had a lot of cutscenes. Not that I mind, because I do enjoy the story, of course. But then you get to MGS2, which, I mean, you think MGS1 had a lot of cutscenes, you haven't seen anything yet. And a lot of people bitch about the cutscenes in this one being so long. I don't think it's that they're long, I just think they're frequent, that's the thing. Towards the end of the games, one or two of the cutscenes are kind of long. I mean, you get half an hour long cutscenes towards the end of the game. But aside from that, the cutscenes, they rarely go over 10 minutes. Most of the cutscenes are about 5 to 10 minutes long. Which, you know, it's not that long by Metal Gear standards. So I don't think, when people bitch about the cutscenes, it's not that they are long, it's just that they are really frequent. I mean, you walk forwards, you'll get a cutscene, which is about 2 minutes long. Then you'll walk forward a few steps, you'll get another cutscene which is about 5 minutes long. Then you'll walk around the corner, another 5-minute cutscene. So that can get kind of annoying. It's not so bad when you first play the game, because you're experiencing the story for the first time ever, and you're enjoying it, you want to know what happens next, so you're finding everything really interesting. But it's one of those things where when you replay the game, it can get kind of annoying. Especially because when I replay the game, I don't always want to sit through every single cutscene every single time. I just want to replay it just for the gameplay, because the gameplay is of course amazing. So I can get annoying having to skip through the cutscenes all the time. I mean, you can skip the cutscenes, but even then, it does take a while to constantly tap X to skip through them all, that can get kind of annoying on repeat playthroughs. Although sometimes when I replay the game, I do sit through all the cutscenes because I want to experience the story all over again. So on those kind of playthroughs, I don't mind the cutscenes, obviously, because that's why I'm playing the game again, for the cutscenes. But they can get annoying when you're replaying the game purely for the gameplay. I do consider this the easiest Metal Gear game as well, I think. Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are pretty easy. I'm not sure which one. I would say they're both kind of equal in terms of difficulty. Of course, I'm talking when you play them on the normal difficulty. If you were to play this on European Extreme, which is the hardest difficulty for those of you who don't know, playing this game on European Extreme is another story. I've never tried it. I've played it. Oh, have I? To get all the trophies for this game, I think I did play it on European Extreme at one point. Or it might have been the difficulty below that, the second hardest difficulty.
You'll know soon enough.
Is everyone's favourite gun-twirling westerner? Everyone's favourite cowboy, who mysteriously has 2 arms now. All will be revealed. The graphics for this game still look good. I'm obviously playing the HD version. For those of you who don't know, a HD collection of Metal Gear Solid was released for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It includes Metal Gear Solid 2, 3 and Peace Walker, with like updated graphics, higher resolution. It's the exact same game, it's just better graphics and resolution. Although there are some minor
Do you read
differences,
me,
but extremely
Loud
minor.
and clear, Snake.
Like only die-hard fans would notice the
I'm at the
minor
sneak point.
differences,
Everything going
and they aren't that
okay?
big of a deal.
The stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
They had to come up with some bullshit reason for the stealth camouflage
The
suit
private
not to
sector's
work.
not so bad,
Otherwise,
is
the
it?
game would obviously be
Privacy
too easy.
guaranteed?
I'm happy
just,
as long as no one
the
gives me
impact
any
broke
more
it.
unwanted
Sure.
gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Mei Ling's not so bad. That reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again? Look, give her a message from me. Someone will find out, sooner or later. She's better off assuming it sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know how the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
All Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
This new one seems to have been designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious, anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method. We don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Metal Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill.
Even by today's standards, the graphics look great.
Don't you forget.
Like I know this was originally a PS2 game, but obviously this is kind of updated with slightly better textures, I guess, and so it supports 1080. But
all right. Let's look at
considering it's a PS2 game which has been slightly updated, it looks great. Like, it looks better than most PS3 games.
Because you have to reload after each shot, since the
if not on the same level, at least.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds.
Let's not forget it runs at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second as well. I'm not sure how consistent that is, but it seems pretty consistent from what I've seen. From what I can notice, from what I can
We're
tell.
talking about a difference of tens of seconds between hitting limbs, chest, or head. As for the equipment... Hey, Snake! Cigarettes? What's wrong with you?
It's kind of a lucky charm.
You haven't read the Surgeon General's warning, have you? Here's the digital camera. Works almost the same way as your old one.
They don't look armed.
Hey, Earth to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the Pentagon's classified files myself.
No traces?
Oh, please, I'm too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea. People can get a clear view of the water from riverside, too.
The water line is too high. According to the navigational plans, this ship should have discharged its cargo upriver.
It's in there, no doubt about it.
The military trains you to watch for threats from the stern on a boat. That's SOP for counter-terror ops, too. Security should be tighter.
You worry too much.
Where's the target?
Satellite surveillance is a major international pastime these days. I'd say the cargo holds, safely below the deck. Do you see the entrance to the holds?
Looks like there are a few entryways into the crew quarters. The chopper. What? Looks like we're not the only ones after Metal Gear tonight.
Is that a chopper I just heard?
Affirmative. Probably another cavalry. What's their game? Hijack?
They're probably targeting the ship's controls.
Otacon, how many men do you need to take over a tanker of this size?
The ship is run by a computer, so I'd say about 18 people.
AKS-74U. Russians?
You sure?
No Marine barber touched that head of hair. I'm transmitting a photo. Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
I do like how in the first game they do talk about these Russian soldiers as well. Liquid and Snake Ocelot talk about this alliance they've made with these Russian soldiers.
Looks like the tanker's there.
And they talk about someone called Sergei Glukovich, and while you're playing the first game, you assume it's some irrelevant subplot. It's not really that important. It's just one of those things Kojima's rambling on about. Because Kojima, he always puts a lot of unnecessary exposition in his games, and you just assume it's going to be one of those things. But that little subplot obviously becomes important in this game. So I do think that's pretty cool. I do like it when games or movies do that, where the sequels bring back smaller unimportant things in the previous games or movies that you didn't realise would become important later on.
All right, I'll do my best.
This isn't like Shadow Moses. Reach me if anything happens.
Of course, the Metal Gear games are full of that sort of stuff. Things that become important later on that you had no idea would in the previous games. I love how Metal Gear always doubles back on itself like that.
9-6. Sorry, but no Mei Ling this time. Call me on the codec when you want to save.
Got it.
I'll be waiting just past the Verrazano Bridge. You need to be off that ship by then.
I'll be in touch.
This is like a minor thing, but I really don't like how Snake's hair looks in that codec. It looks kind of goofy, kind of funky. I don't think it really suits a badass like Snake. Of course, being able to aim in first person, from a first person perspective, was a huge big deal back in the day. Because of course in MGS1 you couldn't do that. Well, you could do it in Twin Snakes, the GameCube remake of MGS1, but I never played that, so, you know, so this was a big deal to me. And Twin Snakes came out before MGS2, I think. I don't think it came out after, if I remember right. I could be wrong about that. Really, the only reason I haven't played Twin Snakes yet is because the price for the GameCube version is quite expensive. That's one of few games which has become quite expensive. Like, it's not rare, it's just expensive. It's just one of those things, some games become really expensive even if they aren't rare. It's like Castlevania Sympathy of the Night for the PlayStation 1. You try looking at that game on eBay, just check out the prices. It's insane. I know, in MGS1, when there's a camera like that, you could just run right past it as long as you were staying close to the wall. But if you try to do that in MGS2, then the camera spots you. So you have to actually press up against the wall. And I've always heard that somewhere in the tanker, on this ship, there's a bucket of ice cubes. I hope he doesn't turn around. Okay, but, oh yeah, hang on. So there's a few cool tricks here. These kind of play like an xylophone or something like that. They all like make a different sounds. Oh no, you have to use the USP, I think, to make the sound. Oh no. There we go, just one of many little pointless Easter eggs. Is that the bucket of ice cubes? I've always heard about it, but I've never seen them. And this is another cool thing about MGS2, is just how you can, there's just so much detail in the environment, there's so many things you can interact with. Like they're just, a lot of them are kind of pointless and just for show, but it's just nice though, like you appreciate the detail. I just spotted, oh wow, that's embarrassing. I'm just going to trigger the cutscene to end this alert phase. Wow, I was busy talking, so I wasn't really like paying attention. I can't believe I just fell for that camera. It was right in plain sight. I can see that happening a lot to me throughout this. I'll be too busy talking about something, and I'll end up getting spotted.
So it is the Kasaka. Russian choppers.
Snake, did you find out where that ship is headed?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. 35 degrees longitude, latitude around 58.
More than 500 miles off the coast of the Bermudas, out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the prototype is ready for solo testing. It's basically combat-worthy. That area is outside the Second Fleet's operational range, too. It must be a standalone Marine Corps project, which means this prototype Metal Gear must be designed for independent deployment, without any naval assistance. Anyway, analysis can wait till later. Snake, you need to go down to the holds and locate the actual metal...
Our first boss fight, which is one of the more forgettable fights in the series, I would say. It's not bad, it's just, compared to the other boss fights, it's just nothing too special, I would say.
Shalashashka has landed. I'm on my way to the tanker holds. Report your status.
Control room, communications and engine room are under control. All entry and exit points to the tanker holds secured. Infrared sensors placed and operational.
Good work. Are the explosives in place?
Yes, they are all planted.
Listen, once we have what we came for, the tanker will be scuttled.
And the vehicle's pilot?
He's the only one who underwent the VR training. No one else can do it.
Are you sure you can trust him?
Your part in the mission is complete. You are to leave at once.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm, pale as death. I have a bad feeling about this mission. You swore this to me, that you would leave the unit once the mission was complete. Do not worry, this is a country of liberty.
No, this is where I belong, with the unit. I have nowhere else to go. Father, I want to stay and fight.
There is no choice to make here, Olga. Need I remind you that you are carrying my grandchild? You will be on the helicopter out of here now.
Damn it.
Freeze! Hands over your head, now! Toss your gun overboard, slowly. A woman. Show your face.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
We are nomads. Wanderers.
I I said don't move.
Americans, so you shoot women too.
I'm a nomad too. What else do you have there? Take the knife and toss it. Not there. Toss it overboard. Hold that position. Now, turn around.
You know what you're doing. It stopped raining. Not too shabby, is it? New York, I mean. And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise. You a Spetsnaz?
I think you deserve a little credit. No one's ever dodged that shot of mine. But no one gets lucky twice, either.
So it's like the first boss fight of MGS 1, 2 and 3. They're just a standard gun battle, really. It's just you fighting a normal, like, human being with who also has a gun. They always start off with these really simple boss fights, so in comparison to the other ones in the series, they're just... Oh, actually, I like the first boss fight in MGS 1 and 3. The standard gunfights, but they're fun. They feel badass and exciting, but this one, in my opinion, not so much. I mean, the first time I played it, I was, like, really wowed by it, because it was the first time you could shoot while in a first-person perspective. So, when I first played it as a kid, there was something really cool and exciting, and I really enjoyed it. But it's just one of those things, when you replay it, it's kind of like, it's not really anything special nowadays. You kind of got to try and put yourself in the mindset of what what people, how amazing it was back then, back in the day. I'm doing terrible right now. I can't quite. Wait for it. Wait for your head. Oh, I missed. Okay. I'm sure I'm looking terrible right now. Missing every shot. Kind of just standing in the open. Oh, got it that time. What does Olga say?
Snake, you're not the only one with a gun. If you don't take cover, you'll get hurt. Hide behind something. She may be hiding too, but you have a clear shot whenever she decides to attack. Use the first-person view attack.
Better shoot that light before she uses it. And that was another thing which was really crazy back in the day, how the environment is kind of being used against you, and you can shoot the environments to stop her from using it. It's just, there's a lot of cool things like that. I think another thing which makes the boss fight in MGS1 far more exciting than this one, in my opinion, is the character of Ocelot. Like, Ocelot was really badass. As soon as he appeared, you knew shit was gonna go down. And you wanted to fight him. The cutscene which introduced him made you excited to fight him. But with this one, not so much. I mean, I'm not just saying that because Olga's pregnant and I feel bad for fighting a pregnant woman. It's nothing like that. It's just... like, she seems like an interesting character, but the cutscene never really made me feel like, yeah, I want to fight this person. And this fight is actually really, really difficult on the harder difficulties. I got my ass kicked when I played this on extreme mode. This was actually one of the hardest boss fights on the harder difficulties, in my opinion. It was harder than the Metal Gear Ray fight, I would say. I played quite badly as well, I'll admit. I swear to God, I'm normally better than this. is the whole trying to think of stuff to say while playing. That's the whole thing, which kind of puts me off. That's my excuse.
Cipher. Otacon, the ship appears to be under their control. The men have Russian gear, but I haven't been able to find out anything else about their origin.
I know who they are.
You do?
We've ID'd the old man.
Who is he?
Sergei Gerlukovich.
Gerlukovich, one of Ocelot's allies.
Yeah, the GRU colonel. He's the one Ocelot was supposed to meet up with after Shadow Moses.
They're after Metal Gear.
Everything's changed. This is not going to be as simple as we thought.
You could say that. I saw a surveillance remote just now. It looked like the Cipher.
A Marine Cipher T?
No, Army.
First the Marines, then the Russians, now the Army?
You're right. This isn't gonna be simple.
Snake, there's something I have to tell you.
What?
We didn't dig up this info about the new Metal Gear on our own. Not like usual.
How did you find out then?
It was a tip. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous? You've never trusted those. Why would you start now?
I have a younger sister, a stepsister. We have different parents. I only knew her for 2 years.
You've never mentioned her before. So?
The sender of the tip was EE.
EE?
Her name is Emma, but I always call her EE.
Emma? Emmerich?
Yeah, it just caught my eye, you know? I figured it was a coincidence, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. There's really no one out there who knows about her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Over 10 years ago.
You think it's a trap? To lure us out here?
I don't know. After I got the tip, I did break into the Pentagon system to get confirmation.
Okay.
Watch your back, Snake. Maybe I screwed up.
I've got a light-equipped USP. I can take them on now. There's no ammo, but it takes a 9mm, just like the Marines' M9. I'll find those somewhere around here.
Don't raise too much racket with that thing.
I hear you.
I've never done it. Oh yeah, I have done this before, but there's an Easter egg here. Oh yeah, there we go. If you shoot her in the head with a tranquilizer gun, this happens.
What are you doing? How could you shoot someone who's unconscious? What are you, some kind of a monster?
I'm not going to bother collecting all of the dog tags in the game. I'm just going to get this one just because I can. For those of you who don't know, dog tags are basically collectibles in MGS2. Certain soldiers, or well, most soldiers in the game, most enemies in the game, if you hold them up with your gun, you can get them to drop their dog tags, and that's it. That's the collectibles. There's also thermal goggles, I believe, on this somewhere up this ladder. I think there's a suppressor as well for the SOCOM, and I'm not sure how you pronounce that. SOCOM. That sounds just about right, right? SOCOM. Maybe it's SOCOM. The goggles, so I'm not sure where the suppressor is. I'm trying to think in my head, I got a rough idea where it could be, although I'm not 100% sure. Don't really need it anyway, it's not big of a deal. I'm not a fan of Snake's role. I prefer the cartwheel of a certain other character. The cartwheel seems a bit more practical as well, because as you just saw there, as I tried to roll down the stairs, Snake kind of collapsed. But if you do a cartwheel down the stairs, it works. For those of you who haven't played the game, you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm trying to speak in a way which doesn't spoil the rest of the game, just in case somebody's watching this playthrough without knowing the story of MGS2. Although, who doesn't know the twist? What? I missed. I'm playing pretty bad. I'm not doing too well. Although at this point, who doesn't know the twist of MGS2, as I was saying? I mean, it's a huge, like, famous thing. I'm running low on tranquilizer ammo. I think there's a ration under here, yeah. Which I don't really need, but whatever. That's another cool thing about MGS2, you can destroy the cameras if you shoot them with a lethal weapon. Obviously the downside, if you shoot it with a lethal weapon, then any guards in the area could hear the gunshot and you could trigger an alert phase. Which is why I want the suppressor so badly. But that's something in MGS1 that you could not do there. Basically, your only resorts, the only thing you could do with cameras is either just avoid them or use your chaff grenades. Turn around, dude, come on. Apparently if you punch the, well not apparently, I have done it in the VR missions, but if you punch the soldiers in the balls, they just drop to the floor. So that's one way you can like incapacitate them. Although it's kind of tricky, you have to punch them in like the precise spot. And I'm not going to bother doing that just in case I miss and trigger an alert phase. Now I'm out of tranquilizer ammo, but it's all good, I guess. We can find some. This is another thing which blew my mind as a kid. The fact that they noticed the hole you make in the glass. Oh shit. The bullet doesn't go through the other side. I'll wait for him to come back. No, I won't, I'll just shoot him from you. That's what I wanted, perfect. And I love the way the TV fizzles out when you shoot it. I always find that really satisfying. You can shoot all those glass bottles as well, but I'm not... Wait, is that what I think it is? It is. I've heard about this, but I've never found it before. That's all there is. It's just a bucket of ice cubes, and they melt. And the crazy thing is the bigger ice cubes melt. The bigger ice cubes melt faster than the smaller ice cubes. Just how it would work in real life. Just a tiny little detail. So unnecessary, but they put it in the game anyway. Apparently it was Kojima's idea. He just told his game developers to, well, put it in the game. I wonder what they were thinking. They were probably like, why? And he's just like, just do it. That's the thing with Kojima. After MGS1 was such a huge success, Konami were basically like, here's an unlimited budget, do whatever you want. And Kojima came up with this. And this was not what, like, obviously, people weren't expecting this game. Here's a cool, another optional conversation with Otacon.
Snake, that shadow,
It's him, no doubt about it.
But Raven
Or is
was,
it?
you know, out in Shadow Moses.
I know. Maybe it's the last of his 9 lives. Or maybe his maker decided to give him another chance.
You're not serious, are you?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Either way, we'll find out soon enough.
Snake, watch your step, okay?
And it's just an action figure. And if you shoot it, might as well destroy that. Oh wait, missed it. Yeah, that's better. Climb up. was hoping the door would fall the other way so I could get inside. Never mind. Sometimes there's objects hidden inside. Apparently, if you take a picture of these like pictures on the lockers and then send them to Otacon later on in the game, it triggers little Easter eggs. I've never done it before, but we'll see. Random dead body.
Freeze.
If I'm not mistaken, the suppressor is somewhere around here. It's kind of at the back of one of these walkways. I could be wrong. And I think the location of the suppressor changes depending on the difficulty that you've selected. I'm trying to think of where it could be. I mean, I always thought it was on the ladder of that ladder up above that I went up ages ago. Apparently not. That was just close. Is it coming down here? Yep. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. I'm playing really bad today. Of course I would play terrible when I'm recording, so everyone can watch and then criticise how bad I am. I will say I'm pretty shit at MGS3, I'll say that right now. Like, I like to consider myself a decent player at MGS1 and 2, despite how I'm playing right now at MGS2. But I will just flat out say right now, I'm pretty terrible at MGS3. I've never once completed MGS3 without getting spotted. I get spotted at least 5 times every time I play MGS3.
We'll return to position following patrol of the small room on the port side.
You can kind of lean forward so you can look through the little grate, the little vent. But if you lean too close towards it, then Snake's head bumps against the locker door, and any guards in the area will hear it, and then they'll come in and investigate it, and of course you'll get spotted. And I can hear his heartbeat. He left? Yeah, he's on the right. He's leaving. It's gotta be. Oh shit, I just realised I overwrited the other picture I took. Oh well. I'll just disable the sensors so the C4 doesn't go off.
Snake, wait! Don't move!
I see it. Some kind of device on both sides of the hall. Infrared sensors?
Right, and they're linked to...
Let me guess. Semtex.
Exactly. Plastic explosives.
So this is what they were talking about.
Looks like it. If you trip the sensors...
I'll be sleeping with the fishes, along with this entire ship.
That sounds about right.
I'm not in the mood to go sleep with the fishes, but there are too many sensors. Looks like I'll have to find another way.
No need to worry. There's a way through. Take a close look. Do you see the thing with blinking green lights right next to the explosives? That's the control unit for the sensors. Destroy that, and the sensors stop functioning. You can't get in close enough to touch it, so you'll have to shoot it out. But the M9's knockout rounds won't work. The USP you picked up should do the trick. Use that gun.
Now you can use cigarettes, or you can shoot the bags of flour to see the lasers, but the thermal goggles, if you did collect them, they're just a lot easier to use. Now in this area, if you hold up your lethal weapon, the USP... Oh yeah, it's not the SOCM, it's the USP, of course, yeah. But if you hold up the SOCM, the USP I meant, when you're going down this hallway, Snake holds up his torch, which is another cool little detail. As opposed to the tranquilizer gun, where he just, well, doesn't hold up the torch. Well, the torch is attached to the gun, so makes sense. Oh shit. I just alerted the guy. It's all good though. I missed. You can shoot those lights out as well, but I can't be bothered. And I'm pretty sure this pipe falls over if you... It's not working right now. There's a way to trigger that pipe to fall over. Because a lot of the time, the player will be hiding against this wall when the enemy walks past. And then the pipe will fall over and the enemy will hear it. But it's just a nasty little trick that the game developers, you know, set up for the player to fall for. I remember when that happened to me for the first time, I really shook me up. It happened to me after I beat the game a bunch of times as well, so I assumed I knew all of the tricks the game had to offer. So when that happened, that really surprised me. Really caught me off guard. And as you could imagine, it led to an alert phase. I missed. I keep missing. Alright, we got him that time. We got it in the end. I was kind of stressing out about having enough M9 ammo for the this little action set piece coming up. Although they do give you tranquilizer ammo doing this bit anyway, so it's not as if I would have been in trouble. I am trying to beat the game without... I don't really want to say that. For the most part, I'm going to beat the game without killing anyone. But when I get to Arsenal gear, I'm going to just go full lethal. I can't be asked to put up with that part of the game while only using the tranquilizer ammo. At that point it stops being fun and it's just annoying. So I'm not going to bother with that. But for the bosses and everything else, I'll just use tranquilizers. I do think the bosses are way too easy if you're using lethal weapons. They kind of spoils the fun.
The lift is also under our control. Sir, the Marine Commander has started his speech already.
We will complete the preparations before the end of the speech.
All communications to the halls have been severed. No one is aware of our presence.
Let no one down into the halls until we are out.
Yes, sir. We will secure your exit with our lives if necessary.
There is one more thing.
Yes, sir.
My daughter, keep her safe.
Yes, sir.
Who goes there?
Managed to hit that guy at least. Oh, and he fell. I hit him in the chest. For those of you who don't know, if you hit the enemies in the head, it tranks them immediately, but If you hit him anywhere else, it takes longer. I guess if you shoot him in the chest, it doesn't take that long though, because the guy pretty much fell over immediately. Well, that's another thing. I better take out the lights. I think it makes it tougher for the enemies to see you if you shoot out the lights. The accuracy is kind of reduced quite a bit. See, right now they're having trouble seeing me. I think that's it. I didn't do too bad there. I'm not gloating, I mean, it's nothing compared to the speedrunners, but that wasn't too bad. I did decent there. I'm redeeming myself.
Who goes there? Oh, Shalashaska. Why are you here? We thought you were with the Colonel. What the?
The gore effects in this game aren't too bad as well. I mean, when you shoot people, blood will spray out, but it's not as if an actual bullet hole will appear in their body or anything like that. But for the PS2 era, this was pretty brutal stuff. And especially how if you shoot a guard in his kneecap, then he will kind of like limp and kind of fall over to one side on the leg that you shot him on. So that sort of stuff was really cool.
It's taking
especially,
longer
like
than
I said, for
expected.
the PS2 era.
We've already passed the Verrazano Bridge.
All right, we'll use another recovery point.
They may be planning to change course.
What?
The exits to the deck are all sealed.
What are they planning?
If they get Metal Gear, we're going right off the fringe.
You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses.
The men down here are definitely Marines.
The current state of nuclear...
If the deck is sealed off, they have no way of knowing that the ship's been taken over.
I'm not interested in fighting these guys. The weapons won't do me much good here.
Can you see Metal Gear?
No. I'll have to go around to the bow. They have some serious defenses here. I doubt the recent arrivals want to blast their way through the Marines either.
Wonder where they're headed?
I don't know. Not the beach, that's for sure.
Okay, Snake. Let's go over this one more time. Use this camera to get photographic evidence of the Metal Gear prototype. Now do your thing and take pictures that speak louder than the government's plausible denials. We need 4 shots. Metal Gear from the front right, and front left, and a close-up of the Marine Corps marking.
Marking?
There should be a Marine's insignia on the body of Metal Gear. Just let someone try explaining away a clear shot of that.
All right.
There's actually one little thing.
Just spit it out. I'm used to things going wrong.
It looks like someone's monitoring our transmission.
Who?
I don't have a clue. All they're doing is
I don't think they ever say clearly who
who
is actually monitoring
Could
them,
it have something to do with
their
this
transmission,
psycho
but I believe it's the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, who else would it be? Obviously, it wouldn't be someone like Solidus, since,
Instead
well,
of using
you
the
know,
Kodak?
why or how would he?
Exactly. There's a workstation in the southeast corner of the block where Metal Gear is housed. I've made arrangements so that you can send the pictures from the machine.
Arrangements?
I hitched a ride on Link 16 into US military's proprietary network. Managed to get into that workstation and overwrote a part of the system software so I could remote install a little app I wrote.
Why bother with anything that complicated?
No, it's pretty simple, really. Look, all you have to do is stand in front of the machine and push the action button. The app will automatically launch and download the image data from the camera, split the files, and encrypt them individually. The data package...
Per usual, over-explaining everything.
Okay.
It's kind of like they're almost making fun of themselves at this point with how much detail they go into.
Well, sure, if you put it that way.
So at least they're self-aware, so that makes it okay.
The Commandant's already begun his speech, but you need to get the pictures before he's done talking. Otherwise, they'll spot you, okay?
How much time do I have?
I hacked into his personal files and took a look at the text of that speech. I'd say you have 7 more minutes. Longer if he throws in a joke or two.
A 7-minute time limit, huh?
Remember, Snake, just the photos, okay?
With these kinds of odds, I won't be making any sudden moves. But that doesn't mean we can just let Metal Gear be hijacked.
Okay, but first the photos.
All right, we'll deal with the rest when we get there.
Stay low.
May have a quick break bit. Okay, so I'm back at the daybreak, and there's a little optional side room here. You can backtrack through the door you went through in the cutscene. This is one of the things I didn't find out until I played the game a lot. Until I beat the game several times. So of course the goal here is to get through 3 rooms, and there's actually a few ways to do it. If you've upgraded your grip level to level 3, you can actually swing over the balcony and then shimmy across the ledge all the way to the other side. But to do that you have to upgrade your grip level to 3, which takes a while. For those of you who don't know, to upgrade the grip level to level 3, you have to basically flip over the balcony 100 times, I think. And that's very time consuming, so you actually have to do that for one of the trophies to get one of the collectibles. So since I did get all the trophies for this game, I did end up having to do that. It wasn't very fun. I mean, getting the trophies in general was fun, but that was kind of annoying, having to do that 100 times. I know you can go through the vents as well to sneak underneath them. Right now I'm going around the side of the rooms, but you can also go underneath the soldiers and go through the ventilation system. I'm not going to bother doing that. Mostly because it's too easy. It kind of spoils the fun. I mean, it's kind of easy anyway, but it spoils the fun going under the vents because there's not really any way for the soldiers to spot you. I am aware if you keep pressing that button on the projector, eventually something funny is supposed to happen. Like something funny is supposed to appear on the projector screens. I can't remember what though. I think I did it a while ago. I just can't remember what does appear on the projector screens. It's like a little Easter egg. And I think if you take a picture of the projector screens, then I think a ghost or something appears on it. And then you can send that picture to Otacon, and that's another Easter egg. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 just has Easter eggs all over the place. Well, all of the MGS games do. They always put a lot of effort into it.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. It was so weird just when I played this game for the first time. The fact that we encounter the Metal Gear of this game immediately, as opposed to something like Metal Gear Rex, where you didn't stand up close to it until towards the end of the game. Because in the first game they treated it like a really big thing. It was like this really big epic thing, and you didn't see it until the end of the game, as opposed to this where you see it in like the first 2 hours of gameplay. Actually, it probably takes you slightly longer than 2 hours to get you on your first playthrough, I mean. Did I just overtake that picture? I did, huh? No, I swear to God somebody said that you can see ocelots standing behind Metal Gear Ray if you stand in the right place. I've never noticed this. I don't even know if this is true or not, but I've said that. I swear I read that somewhere. I'm not gonna spend long just trying to find him. But if he is there, that's pretty cool.
As a soldier, I know that is my...
Maybe you have to go on the balconies to see him.
Metal Gear Ray is amphibious, unlike the Army's...
Okay, so I accidentally overwritten the picture from the front. I think I just...
Good.
Oh no, it's okay. We're all good.
Its onboard joint tactical information distribution system identifies targets with unerring
Does that count?
accuracy.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Massive fire.
Yep,
It is the
let's just do it.
ultimate weapon.
Apparently towards the end of his speech, he does start to talk about the Patriots. And he gives a little bit of backstory on what happened to Solidus as well. Which is pretty interesting. I mean, it's not mandatory information. They do kind of gloss over it later on in the game, but it's cool that they put it
Any codec
at this
moments
point
from
in the
you,
game
Snake?
as well.
The first image is... Okay, this works. It's a great front view. What's next? Okay, that's good. The shot from the right is in the bag.
I took a picture of the girl in the locker,
And
didn't
the
I?
next one is... You're a pretty good photographer. We can definitely
Apparently
use
the
this
game didn't
left
save
shot.
it, I guess.
The last one is... This is great. The Marines lettering shows up really
Here we
well.
go, now a crazy 30-minute cutscene.
Okay, now we have all the photos. Snake, the speech is about to wind up. Forget the photos and get out of there now.
This is the cutscene where they introduce one of the
We, the Marines,
strangest
will lead the charge into
subplots,
new
I guess.
weather
Well, it's not even a
Metal
subplot, it's
Gear
quite a
Ray.
big thing. This is where they introduce a really
That is all.
strange
Dismissed.
plot, let's just say.
Excellent speech, my friend.
Who the...
So Ocelot walks from
The silver tongue.
the back of Metal Gear Ray, so if he truly is... If you can truly see him doing the gameplay, I guess he'd be standing behind the leg of Metal Gear Ray.
Sound of their own voice.
You probably have to stand in this specific spot to be able to see him, I'm guessing.